Good afternoon, happy Tuesday, and welcome to Coffee and a Card. So I'm always excited to be here with you guys today to show you a little project, get you inspired for your crafting. So I'm just gonna get set up here, let you guys all come in and get settled. Hopefully you've got a good drink and you can settle in for some crafting. So welcome to those of you who are coming in. I know I call this Coffee and a Card, but I don't often drink coffee at this time of the afternoon. This video used to be done in the morning, and so I was always drinking coffee. But when I moved it to the afternoon, I've just never renamed it. So typically I'm drinking either iced tea or water this time of day. So, but you know, as cold weather comes, maybe I'll go back to some afternoon coffee. We'll see. So welcome to everybody who's coming in here on this Tuesday afternoon. I'm going to share some happy mail, and then I am going to do a project for you. So just if you hear or see anything in the background, I've got a helper here who is cutting for our October card club kits. So that's what's happening around here. It's a busy time. So it's a great time of year, and I'm super excited about some things that are coming up that I can't wait to tell you guys about. So welcome to you guys. Oh, good. We do have some people here. So I'll go ahead and get started and show you some happy mail that I got. So this one is from Beth Barber from here in Iowa. And it says, "You're always so good to others. Be good to yourself too." Isn't that cute? And look at that. She's used the split texture dies kind of a different way. No, most of the time when I see it, this way, most of the cards I've seen are with it this vertical. There we go. I always get vertical and horizontal messed up. So most of them I've seen vertical. I love this idea of using it horizontally like this. And then she's got the flowers. I'm not even going to try to name those. Lilacs, maybe? I don't know. Oh, my camera's falling. I think it's called Wisteria, maybe is the stamp set. Maybe that's the name of the flower. I don't know. Anyways, it's a pretty flower. That's what matters. And then she's got her flowers there in the middle with just a little coordinating color from the outside. So very cute. Yes, somebody just said the orientation is different. Yes, it is. Isn't that neat, Kathy? I like that. I just haven't seen it used this way very much, and it's a really cool way to do it. Thank you. You guys are telling me this is wisteria. Thank you. Yeah, me and flowers. I just kill them. I admire them from afar. All right. So let me go ahead and just set that aside, and I'm going to put my camera down since it apparently wants to go down. It keeps slipping here this morning. So let's just go ahead and put it down. And it's not morning. I just said this morning. Let's see here. I think that'll work. So I have been like shifting stuff on my desk, and it means that I keep messing with my setup. And so I just keep screwing up my setup. So it's all good. We'll get it sorted out one of these days. So actually, I will say, little sneak peek here. I don't have all the details for you, but my studio is moving. So I'll be sharing more in the coming weeks, but that means that this whole setup is going to change anyways. So, yeah, so we'll talk about that. Like I said, we'll talk about that more in the coming weeks, but oh, Jean has an interesting idea. She said you can turn this around and use it for Christmas trees. Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at it like this, you could totally see these as being trees right there. So yeah, that would be a super cute idea. All right. So today we are going to make a card using Ringed in Nature because I wanted to do this Get Well Soon right here. But really, today is about teaching you a fun fold. So last night at my house, I had a fun fold class. And one of my customers had asked me if I could teach them the angled fold card. I know this is really popular. I've seen it all over Pinterest and Facebook and, you know, people showing how to make this card. So I decided, well, I'll create a version and we'll show it here as well, since I've had some of you guys asking for that. So, Kathy's asking, did I kill the plant that somebody sent me last year? Probably. I have two plants right now. I have an African violet that one of my business helpers gave me, and it's still alive. And then I have a succulent, and I think it might be dead, but I don't know. It's not the first time I've killed a cactus, but I think it might be dead. So anyways, we're going to look at how we make this card right here. Now, there's a lot of different versions of how you make this card, different dimensions, that sort of thing. So I'm just going to teach you one version. You can look on, like I said, Pinterest is a great source of card ideas, and you can get lots of different dimensions and ways of doing this. So I'm just going to show you one way that has worked for me. And we're using the Rustic Harvest, I believe is what this paper is called. I've been using this paper a lot. Yes, Rustic Harvest. So this paper it's also featured in our card club this month. So if you got the September card club, or if you still want to get it, you'll get a half a pack of this paper. But you'll see this is one of the designs in there. But it also comes with, my favorite is these pumpkins here and this green swirl. I just love it. So black and white all on the background. So that's the paper that we're using. So let's make this card. All right, so I already have some pieces cut here because this was an extra kit from my class last night. And I am going to show you how I make this card. So I'm starting with a piece of Mossy Meadow cardstock, and it measures at 5.5 by 11. So it's 5.5 by 11. Move my scissors here. And we're going to score it at 3 3/8. So I'm going to score it from both sides. So we'll score here, and then we'll turn it around, and we'll do 3 3/8 again. Okay. So now we're going to do our angled cuts. So we're going to start from a score line. We're going to go from a score line down to 1.5 inches. Okay, so 1.5. So what you're going to do, you're going to put your score line on your track, your cutting track right here. Now keep in mind, I'm using the new Stampin' Up! Trimmer. So all of these measurements work based on my trimmer, but if you have a different kind, that's not a big deal. You can just turn your paper around and do it a different way. But I'm going to put my score line right here on the track, and then actually I have to move down because my paper is so tall. And then this tip over here is at 1.5 inches. Okay, so my score line is on the cutting track, and my tip is at 1.5 inches. And I'm just going to cut. Okay, so from the score line down to 1.5 inches. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here. So from my score line, and then I'll put this side at 1.5. So you'll see you can use either side of your cutting track. So I've got my score line on the cutting track and my tip at 1.5 inches. Okay, so if I have this here, you'll see now we have two matching cuts. Well, I should turn this around. This is the top of my card. Okay, so I have two cuts. Now I have created two new tips on my card. You see that here? I have two new pointers. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put the pointer on the cutting track, and we're going to put the bottom corner at 1 inch. Okay, so the new tip that you've got, that you cut, is on my cutting track, and my bottom corner is at 1 inch. Okay, we're going to do it again. So we've got this tip over here that we created with our angle cut. We're going to put that on the cutting track, and we're going to put the bottom corner at 1 inch. So now you can see we've got our two angles. Okay, So from the score line to this tip is you're cutting down to 1.5 inches, and then it's 1 inch for the other cut. Okay. So when I go to fold this, you'll see here how they fold over each other. All right. So I'm just going to stop here and see if anybody had a question on this one. Okay, yes. Oh, Kathy, you said these are cool cuts. Yeah, these are really easy to do. Now, here's one thing I wanted to say. Before you do the second cut, if I had just done that first one, this would be straight right here. That would actually be like a shirt card. Okay, you guys might remember last year I did shirt cards using the masculine set that we had. And so you would pull out a little white card. It would be like this, and you would pull this out. And there would be a suit and tie, and there were buttons down the front. So that's how you make the shirt card. We're just adding an extra angle, okay, for this card. Okay, so we've got our base. So let me just get these angle cuts out of the way. And I'm going to cut the designer series paper. Okay, Kathy remembers the shirt cards. Yeah, and if you were wanting to see those and you haven't seen that video yet, just search for masculine cards, and it'll come up in under masculine cards. Okay, so I have 2 pieces of designer series paper, and these measure 3 1/8 by 5 1/4. Okay, 3 1/8 by 5 1/4. Now, my paper is directional, so I'm going to explain this to you. If direction matters on your paper, which obviously for me it does, I want my flowers to go right side up. I'm going to explain to you what you need to pay attention for if you're using directional paper. If you're not, it won't matter. You can just cut. Okay? So this is what I want on the front of my card. I want flowers on the front. So whatever you want on the front of your card needs to go in the middle. So we're just going to flip them over. Okay? So the pattern you want on the front of your card goes on the inside. And we're going to cut 2 pieces at the same time. Now I'm minding my direction. So when I am holding this to me so that the direction matters, we're going to cut from the top left corner down to 1.5 inches. Okay? So my top left corner goes on the cutting track, and my top right corner goes to the 1.5 line. So my top left corner is on the cutting track, and my top right corner is at 1.5. And we're going to cut that. Then, so here we've just cut that. I've got a new tip right here. That tip is going to stay on my track. So my new tip stays on the track, and your bottom right corner goes to 1 inch. So the new little corner that you've made goes on the cutting track, and your bottom right corner goes to 1 inch. Oops, whoops, it's going to be 1 inch on the other side. Sorry. Still the same thing. New tip on the cutting track, bottom right corner to the 1 inch mark. So now what we're going to have, let me just put this trimmer away now. Now we have 2 flower pieces that I will be putting on the fronts of my cards. And because we did the same exact cuts, we did 1.5 inches and then we did the 1 inch, it matches my card front. Okay, so let me grab some tape here. So whatever angle you decide to go with for your cardstock, you're also going to do the same angle for your DSP. And that's how you get them to match. It's just 1/4 inch smaller. So we'll stick this on here, and then I'll put this one on. Now you do have a bunch of options for what we're going to do next, and I'm going to talk you through some of them. I do have another sample I'm going to show you of how you can finish the card from this step. Okay, so we have our angle cut card. Okay, that's the basics of cutting this card. Now you've got some choices. Okay, you could decide to seal this bottom. okay? So you could put some like tear and tape across here and completely seal this closed. Once you've done that, you're going to put your card insert and it becomes the type of card that you lift out from the top. Okay, so you might want to create like a little pull tab here, maybe a ribbon, you know, any sort of thing so that somebody knows they need to pull this out of the card. Okay, that's an option. We're actually going to make it so that this card opens, and I'm going to show you how to do a little closure for it. But let me show you another option for closing your card. This is with a ribbon closure. So you'll see this ribbon goes all the way around the back of the card, and when we untie it, you open the card. And the ribbon stays in place because it's secured underneath my ovals, and it's also secured on the back with glue dots. So then when the person is done reading it, if they want to display it, they can just close it and this ties back into a bow. Okay, we'll see if we can do that pretty quick and easy here. I left a little extra ribbon. I didn't cut the ends too short because I don't want to make it too hard for somebody to close the ribbon. Oh, I didn't tie it very evenly, but you get the idea. So you can do a ribbon closure. We are going to do a tuck-in closure. I don't know. I make up words here, you guys. I don't always remember the exact names of folds and techniques. So this might have one, and you guys can tell me as we're doing this. But we're just going to stick our insert. Our insert is 4 by 5 1/4. So, oh, excuse me. Okay. Ooh, excuse me. So that's 4 by 5 1/4. I'm not stamping it, so I'm just leaving it that way. So we're going to do a couple of things here. First of all, I have to decide which flap do I want on top. I think I want it to go this way. I really like that big flower. Okay, so I have a stitched circle. This comes from Stylish Shapes, and it's the smallest size of the circles. And I'm just going to put a dimensional in the middle of it. And we're going to create a little closure here. Now I'm making sure that my dimensional is not touching this flap that's getting tucked underneath. So you can see here, it just tucks right underneath there. So it still opens nice and easy, but it helps to hold the card closed. You can use any shape here. It doesn't have to be a circle. So if you had a little flower or maybe a butterfly or, you know, something that ties into your Design Assurees paper, you could totally add that as your closure. And then I'm just going to take a brushed brass butterfly and stick it right there. And then we'll take our Ringed in Nature and our Get Well Soon stamp. And I'm going to do Mary Merlot. And I am using the double oval punch. So I have punched out one of Mary Merlot and one of Crushed Curry because that's kind of the color combination that works really well here. Okay. So we'll take these two and we'll add these onto our card front. I chose these shapes because with this card you do need to be mindful of where you are adhering things because your flaps are only certain sizes. So when I'm sticking stuff on here, I want to make sure that I'm not overlapping onto the other side of the flap. So I'm just going with opposites just for balancing my card design. And we're going to stick a couple more butterflies. So you might know there's actually a little butterfly peeking out right there with the white. I don't know if any of my samples, I think I cut the butterflies off of That one has a little bit more butterfly. It just depends on how you cut this designer series paper. But you can end up with some butterflies on your DSP as well. So just a couple of different ways that you can make those angle cut cards. And then I was going to try to show you the other card we made last night, but I don't know what I did with it. We did another fun fold. I'll have to find it and show it to you guys. Oh, here it is. Just a second. So I showed this design on Facebook Live, golly, over a year ago, I think it's been. But I pulled it out of my vault of fun folds to show for last night's card. So this here, we've got our kind of envelope flap, if you will, and then it opens like this. And then if you didn't want double tags, I also showed them that they could just do with the single tag there. But same thing. And then this one, I did not put the DSP on the inside. So just another way of, and I'll see if I can find that video and link to it here so that you guys can see the replay of how to make this fun fold too. But today just seemed like a good day to show you guys some fun folds that really aren't that hard. So if you've wanted to try out a fun fold, now's a great time. This is actually a great fold to start with. So it's not too challenging. Just slow down the replay and watch it again so you can get your measurements and make your angle cut card. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today for Coffee and a Card. I will be back soon with another fun video. But until then, don't forget to encourage one another and build each other up. I'll see you soon.